So if you want to become a DevOps engineer, you should know minimum knowledge on Linux because most of the servers are running on Linux only. So Linux means we have, okay, let me share my screen. Do one thing, I'm created one folder Linux. So the first thing, what is the Linux? Guys, Linux is a operating system. Guys, operating system, which means generally operating system, which means it is a interface between user and computer. Generally, what OS means interface, interface between, interface between, interface between user and computer. Guys, so for suppose if you have a bare system, you are not working on anything on the system. You should have a one OS. That OS will be working the, like that OS will be help you to do the things. Similarly, what exactly OS? It is an interface between user and computer. Okay, interface between user and computer. We have a multiple OSs. See, Linux also one kind of OSs. Linux also one kind of OSs. We have a multiple OSs. Like most popular OS is Windows, Linux, Mac. These are the most popular OSs. Okay. Again, Windows we have comes to the Windows XP. Next Windows 7. These are the versions. Windows 7, 8, called as a Windows family. It's 8. There is a no 9, 10, 11. Okay, so these are the windows. Generally, see, if you upgrade it to the new version or new family, it has a some disadvantages or it has a some features comparing with the previous versions. Okay, similarly in Linux also one kind of family. Linux also one kind of family. In Linux we have a multiple. And guys, one more thing before going to that, what, see, why most of the companies are adopting the Linux? Because Linux is a open source, but Windows is a not a open source. See, if you want to install Windows, you should have a license key. Definitely you should buy that license key. But if it is a Linux, you are no need to worry about license key because it is a open source. Okay, I want to tell what exactly open source. Open source nothing but free of cost. Free of cost. Not only free of cost, not only free of cost. The code will be, suppose in Linux what happened in backend, they Linux will be like Linux written by C language in backend. Actually we are seeing, see, Windows also written something technology called .NET. Similarly in Linux, the backend language in the sense whatever we are seeing in Windows, right, or we are seeing in Linux, the backend language means the backend technology is a C. See, the Linux actually it's a kind of a project. 98, I think, I'm not sure of that here. 1917 one at that time. So whoever invented the C language, he is also developed the Linux only. So based on the C language, Manaki, like before Linux, we have a Unix. So now Unix also open source, and open source means free of cost, and code will be available. Code will be available. Nothing but, suppose, see, if it is a Windows 7 has a one feature and 8 has a one feature. but they won't expose their code. So for suppose for Windows they are using some code called some code, but if you put that code into the outside, they may misuse that code. But in Linux, what will happen, guys? Keep remember, open source nothing but the first element is free of cost. Second element is we can we can customize, we can change according to you. See, for suppose me, if you are expert into the C language, you want to change, you want to change according to you, like custom. For suppose in Linux, what will happen? Initially, we have a two families. That families are Debian, and Red Hat. What happened? See, they initially they will took the code from source and they will modify it according to their requirement. But in Windows, that is not open source. First thing, that is the enterprise edition. Enterprise edition means we should pay. Linux, it is a open source and we can modify the code according to you. Similarly, so sorry, so Linux, the Debian is a one company, Red Hat is a one company. They company, like they are modified according to their requirement. So see, Red Hat is a one company. In Red Hat, again, see, Linux is a parent, Debian and Red Hat is a two sons. Again, Debian have a one more son called Ubuntu, and Red Hat we have a two more sons, CentOS and Red Hat. Guys, for all the family, the blood is common. The source is common, but they will change something. They will change few requirements. They will change few requirements according to their requirement. Hopefully it understood. Linux is a open source. If you know about C language, if you are expert into the C language, you can change the commands also. So in Linux we have a few commands. If you want to add new command, you can add. How you can add? If you are expert into the C language. Guys, hopefully it understood. Linux is a open source, and even your mobile also, see, even your mobile also running on Linux platform. Linux, and the one more advantage is Linux is a antivirus free. Why we called as antivirus free? It is not 100%, 95% it is antivirus free. We no need to install any antivirus software in Linux system. If you are using Windows system, definitely we can install antivirus, like we that's a we have a multiple antivirus we need to purchase and we need to install. That will be scanned, that will be detected the any unwanted threats or unwanted files. But by default, Linux is a antivirus free. You no need to install anything, and that will be detected and that will be not allowed by defaultly. Okay, so you no need to worry about antivirus part. That's why. And if you have any updates, Windows automatically updated, but Linux, no, it will not updated. It will be waiting for our confirmation. Whenever we run the update, at that time only it will be updated. But Windows not like that. It will be auto updated. Sometimes it will be auto updated. If you updated your packages, at that time the system will need to restart and application may goes to the down state. Okay, now and Mac and Linux both are see, this is the Apple. So Mac again, the beauty of the Mac is Mac also, why Mac prefer Mac, even Mac also using the Ubuntu backend, they are using the Debian. If you go to the any Mac, you can run any Linux command, because even Mac also using Ubuntu. That's why, see, most of the people are why they are attracting to the by Mac. See, Mac also antivirus free. We know to we know to run anything. Even Mac also backend they are using the family called Debian, and they will change according to their requirement. So that's why Linux is a most popular OS. Sorry, I'm not saying most popular OS in terms of servers. If in terms of user friendly, I'm go with Windows. See, in Linux, it is not that much of user friendly. Okay. Now, if it is any OS, we have a two kinds of interface. The OS concept is interfacing. We have a two kinds of interface. GUI. What we GUI is graphical user interface. Graphical user interface. Next one is CLI, command line interface. Command line interface. What is the difference between GUI and CLI? For suppose if it is a Windows, okay, if it is a Windows, you are going to the desktop. So you are using cursor. You are able to see everything. You are able to see in graphical representation. For suppose you can see the ALB, DDB, DevOps. You can see the everything in graphical representation. For suppose if you want to create any folder, again you need to select, and this is the process. You need to create the folder. But whatever things we are doing from through cursor, we should do that through command line. Because see, sorry, a command line means every action as a one command. For suppose you if now you are able to see all the folders files. But for suppose if I'm open cmd, or suppose here you can see cmd command line, you can see you are able to see anything. No, you want to see whatever the things in desktop, definitely you can run the command. This is the command in Windows. Now you able to see everything. Guys, see, if it is a graphical user interface, you able to see everything, because the by default the functionality is it everything should be in graphical mode. Graphical means pictorial mode. But if it is a CLI, we need to run command to get the information. Okay. See, Windows supports both CLI and GUI, but most of the people, most see, if you want to run in CLI, definitely you are expert into the CLI, or else you need to minimum know, like you need to know the minimum things, minimum commands to operate the system. For suppose నేను ఇక్కడ ఇది క్లోజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాను, ఇది క్లోజ్ చేయడానికి కూడా బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ లో మనం ఒక కమాండ్ రన్ చేయాలి. If it is a CLI, sorry, if it is a CLI, we should run the command. For suppose if I want to enter into this, I'm just click the double click. But if it is a CLI, we should run the command. Guys, GUI, that is for user interface and that is for user friendly also. But if you are into the CLI, definitely you should know about that commands. Otherwise you can't operate. You cannot operate. Okay. In Linux also we have a two kinds of GUI. Linux also support the GUI and CLI, but most of the people like 70% of people, if it is a Linux platform, 70% of people they want to work on CLI area. Guys, see, if you are into the real-time organization, they will provide Linux system, but they may not provide the GUI options. At that time you should know about CLI, otherwise you can't sustain. Okay na? That's why I'm going to tell few Linux commands. And how, see guys, again I tell you, I am going to explain Linux commands, how that will be created in Windows, and how, see, for suppose if you run the one command, what exactly happen if that command is do in Windows. That will be helpful to learn easily. Okay na guys. Happen. Okay, before going to that, I want to explain the small pictorial representation for the Linux. What exactly Linux? So we called as a Linux architecture. This is the Linux architecture. In Linux architecture, first suppose guys, and see your mobile also Linux guys. If you go to the about settings, you can find the Linux kernel version, what we call as a kernel, what we call kernel. And in Linux we have a four parts. The first part is, okay, the first part is hardware guys. Linux first part is hardware. In Windows also we have a hardware. The next part is kernel. Windows also have a kernel. See, that is the architect kernel. Next we have one more kernel. We have shell. If it is a Linux, we call it as a shell. If it is a Windows, we have cmd or powershell. Well, the next part is next layer is user. Okay, so how actually it work? So for suppose we are the user. Okay, I'm the user. For suppose I'm open I'm open cmd. I'm let me open cmd. This is the my cmd. In Windows I'm going to explain similarly see, if it is a Windows, we are using cmd or powershell. So what exactly shell? It is a interface between user and kernel. Okay, let me open. What is the shell? It is the interface between user and kernel. Okay, let me what is the exactly shell? Interface between user and kernel. Okay na. Okay, ignore this. Okay, now interface between user and kernel. Actually what kernel is a low level language. Low level, it supports low level language. Low level language means ones and zeros. Low level language, it will give the input to, see, it will give the input to hardware. Actually, see, if you give the any, so for suppose if you are opening the WhatsApp, it will be go talk, see, user user searching the WhatsApp, it will be talk to the shell, and shell will be give the information to kernel, and kernel will be give information to the hardware. Okay, generally for suppose if you run the command, so if you run the command call something something dir is a command. So this command user will be run this command, and this command will be taken, shell is a taken, and it will give the, it will see, it will be convert kernel, it will give to the kernel, and kernel will be convert to the zeros and ones. Then initial days we are using low level language. Now we are using high level language, Java, Python. These are the high level language. But initially we have a C language. At that time, whatever input you are giving, that will be converted into zeros and ones, and that will be given to the hardware, because hardware doesn't know about high level language. That will be made by that will be only that will be accept low level language. If you give something, for suppose if you run the directory command, it will be take and it will be give to the kernel. How it will be convert? So it will be converted into the something called 0. So you are not aware about this language, but kernels knows this language and hardware only accept this language only. So if it is a this is the 10, this is the one, it which means this is the directory, which directory we knows, but kernel so hardware doesn't know about directory. So this will be converted into this way, and this will be converted into the this will be given to the hardware. Then hardware understand, oh, he is asking directory, so what is the directory? Again he will give the input to kernel, kernel to shell, and shell to be able to show the user. Guys, anything like you able to understand? See, the process, the layers is common for either Windows. The interface, the user interface is different. If it is a Linux, it is a shell. If it is a Windows,
Can you
that is, sorry,
tell again once?
sorry.
Can you tell again once in concept?
Oh, okay, sure. See, guys, if you like, if you are using, for suppose I'm opening the PPT, but I know I'm opening the PPT, but how system knows I'm opening the PPT? The backend something is going on, right? So now I'm opening the some application, or I'm opening the some comments. These are the comments, or what I'm opening something. But see, if I'm trying to open, say that will be talk with the shell. That will be talk with the shell. For suppose your mobile, you're opening the Facebook application. You know you're opening the Facebook application, but if you open the Facebook application, that directly will talk to the shell, and shell will give the input to kernel. Hey guys, kernel, user put the some request, you should take care that request. Then kernel immediately it will be converted into the low level language, like it will be converted into the 0 to 1 1. Something that is a language. Guys, if you are came from the CSE background, they will understand what is the kernel and what is the low level language. If you have a patience to listen that one, definitely I will explain what is the low level. See, if you go to the ASCII code, like if you go to the ASCII values, this is the ASCII values. Every value has a, so this is the ASCII values. Every, for suppose this is the value, every value has a, for suppose this is the M, right? M has a one value. Okay, that value, see, if you enter M command, see backend, it will be converted into the ones and zeros, and that will be given to the hardware doesn't, if you enter the M, so if you enter the some like alphabet called A, so the hardware doesn't know the A. So how it will be knows? It will be converted into the it will be converted into the low level language. Guys, if you are not aware about low level language, please watch, like please just read that in the article. So then it will be converted into the 0 to 1, and that will be understood. Okay, if see 0 to 1 something, some 0 1 3, so 0 1 1, so that means the alphabet is A. 0 1 1, 1 0, that alphabet is B. So if you enter A, then back end the fraction of seconds, the kernel gives the input to the hardware, and okay, hardware understood. Okay, he want to the A. So then immediately it will enter the A. Guys, understood? Still get confusing? Say yes or no, guys.
Yes.
So
Confused.
confusing. Sorry.
Yes, confusing. Can you tell again?
Oh, okay. Okay, guys. Okay, let me explain this. So for suppose you went to somewhere in a different state called Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu, if you're telling the Telugu, they will not understand, right? Similarly, your system, see, you are trying to say something. So the shell is a translator. So the translator giving to the input to the some Tamil guy. So, for suppose you are the member, you are from Andhra. You are went into the Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu, see, Tamil Nadu is a kind of a OS, entire OS. In that OS, you want to tell something. So you want to tell something like, so suppose you are asking, please give some money in Telugu, some amount of money. You know that word, what that word, amount of money. But Tamil Nadu people doesn't know about that. How they understood? Definitely you should have a one interface, like you should have a one translator. That translator is called shell. Okay, now the translator gives to the input to Tamil guy. The Tamil guy is called kernel. So now the kernel, see, even kernel language you don't know, and your language kernel doesn't know. The only thing is the translator will be the is translator able to understand your language, and it's like Tamil language and Telugu language. Now what will happen? Kernel, see, kernel, like if you are asking some money, so kernel, what will happen? He is translating to, like he's shell translating to Tamil, and kernel will do that activity with the help of hard disk. Now, what hard disk understood? Okay, this Telugu guy wants to, so Telugu guy asked some amount of money. So hard disk will give to the kernel. Again, kernel give to the translator, and translator give to the you. Still, you are confusing, man.
Clear. Okay. Okay. Clear.
So that will happen in any OS. If you take the mobile also kind of a OS. See, mobile also running on a OS, guys. If you go to the abouts, and you can see, you can find the kernel version. Go to the settings and go to the about phone. You can find the kernel version. Okay, na guys. Hopefully you understood. Still, if you are confused, let me try to explain in different way. Understood, guys?
Yes.
Say yes or no. Okay. If you are not saying anything, what I'm thinking, like, okay, you hope you understand. Guys, I'm not a teacher. I'm a kind of a friend of you. So please try to open your bridge and ask me if you have any concerns. Don't keep it in your mind. So that will be the big problem while going to the any interview or while going to the anywhere. So don't keep it in your mind. You see, if it is a kind of a doubt, don't hesitate to ask, like whether it is a good or whether it is a bad. So doubt is a doubt. Whether it is a doubt, whether it is a good or whether it is a proper or not. So you can ask me, no problem. See, you if you are if you have a knowledge in Linux, then only you can understand. So whether it is a good doubt or bad doubt. If you are not, if you don't know anything, you can ask, no problem. Don't hesitate to others' concerns. Guys, your problem is your problem. Don't think like if it is a like a kind of a like so if it is a good or bad. Okay, that want to tell. See, if you go to the any, if you go to the real time also, you don't need to worry, because your problem is your problem. Okay, na guys.
Yes,
Now,
bro, understood.
okay, now I want to explain about the few Linux commands. For suppose this is the user. So okay, now I want to explain about few Linux command. Actually, I have a Linux system. I have a Windows system, but Windows doesn't support the shell. First, means if you don't have a translator, how can we convey them? Similarly, Windows doesn't support the shell. What I'm trying to do, I'm installing the one software is called Git. Git. That software will be help to run the few Linux commands on Windows machine. Guys, again I'm telling you, Git bash or Git, go to the Google, just run the Git. So guys, I'm going to explain about the basics commands. For basics command, this will be used. You can download this and you can see, you can download, just click on download Windows. Now it will be downloaded. It will be downloaded. 62 Windows Portable. It will be downloaded. Now I have that file. Okay, do one thing. I just open this. It will just click. You know how to install in any software in Windows? Just SSS. You can run this. And the one thing before installation, so you can, so after installation you can find these two, git UA and git bash. Before installation you can't find, you unable to find, but after installation you can find these two. Like how can we check whether that is installed or not? Like, you can check like this. It will be available in your right click options. Okay now guys, now what I'm trying to do, so I'm going to explain about few Linux commands, basics commands. Guys, again I'm telling you, see, most of the Linux servers are running on CLI only. Linux basics, basic commands. Okay now guys, now what will happen? So if I'm go, see, I'm going to open. Okay, I'm creating the one folder. Or let's just this is the Windows. Okay, so now if you go to the Control E, sorry, you can see desktop. You can see this is the this PC and Windows. Now what will happen? I'm open git bash here. Git bash here means wherever you are, wherever, like when wherever you are, and when if you open git bash here, that will be open in that path. You can see this is the my user. This is the my user and my laptop name. This is the my entire laptop name, and you can see I'm in desktop. Where I'm in desktop. You can see this PC desktop. And guys, and okay, in Windows, if it is a symbol, and Windows we have a two users. In Windows we have a two users, normal user and admin user. What we call admin user. In Linux also we have a two users, normal user and admin user. Instead of admin we call as a root user. What is the admin user? Admin have a more privileges comparing with the normal user. Admin have a full privileges. So admin can do anything on your system. Similarly, in Linux also we have a normal user and root user. Normal user indicating with the symbol called dollar and root user indicating the symbol with called hash. For suppose if I open this, you can see the symbol is called what? Dollar, which means I'm the normal user. I'm whatever the user BVR Ramna is, that is a normal user. Okay now guys, so now I'm the normal user. Normal user have a limited privileges. If it is a root user, mere mobile lo, like whenever if it is a you want to routing అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉండే ఉంటారు మొబైల్లో. లేదంటే రూట్ అంటే మీన్స్ రూట్ యూజర్ మీన్స్ హీఈస్ ఏ అడ్మిన్ యూజర్, హీఈస్ ఏ ప్రివిలేజ్, he has a more privileges comparing with the normal user. He can do anything on that system. Okay na guys, now I'm the normal user. See, this is the git bash. Now if you want to maximize the size, control plus plus, you can see control plus plus, you can see the maximum it will be increase the font of that size. Now what will happen? The first command is I want to tell pwd. pwd, which means present working directory. Present working directory. Guys, don't confusing about commands. Okay, I will explain. See, whatever command I am telling in Linux, same kind how it work in Windows, I will let you know. So for suppose if you open this, you can see this PC desktop. This is the path. This is the what we call. This is the path, means present working. This is the path. Similarly, you want to find the path where you are. In Windows, we can simply say like we are in desktop. How can we say? We can see that path. Similarly, in Linux, we want to see that path. You just run the command called pwd, present working directory. Now you can say under C, under users, under BB Ramana. This is the my path. This is the my complete path. I am in the desktop. Hopefully understand about pwd command. Pwd is a command which is tell the where you are, present working directory. Okay na guys. Now and you want to tell uname. Give me 1 second. Uname whether it is working or not. Guys, uname means uname is a command which is used for it will get the information about your system. So if you go to the system properties, you can find the what is the system, my system name, and here you can see this is the 64-bit. Okay, 64-bit when it is installed, like what time it is installed, and here you can see this is the kernel version. This is the kernel version. Kernel version. If you go to the your system, sorry, if you go to the your phone, go to the settings, you can see the kernel version. See, kernel version is more than 4. That is the latest kernel version. My kernel version is 3.17 kernel version, and when it is created. So this is all about system information. For suppose if anyone wants to ask what is the your kernel version, how can we find? The command is called uname. The command is called uname. Uname. Okay. Before that, you are into the Linux. You are new to the Linux. But if you don't know the any command, how can we sustain? The beauty of Linux is, for suppose you know the pwd, you know the pwd. Okay, you want to know the more information about pwd, you just run hyphen help. So what will it do? Like it will says like, so print the name of current working directory, and it will show the options also. Guys, no need to worry about if you don't know the any command. So just run the hyphen help. Hyphen help. And we have one more command called man. So man command is not working. Man also do the same thing. Man, it will be give the manual. So if you go to the any laboratory, it will provide the manual, right? Similarly, if you give the man and you can run the command, it will give the more information about that command. Guys, if see pwd hyphen help, so it will give the information about the command, what is the command, why the usage of command, what are the options it has. Also we have using man means manual, and you can give the command. Now it will give the same kind of information. It will give info about command. Guys, these are all commands. So if you see, if you want to sustain, at least you should know the at least 100 to 150 commands in your mind. Guys, no, see, don't need to by heart the commands. If you do the practice, if you do the your hands make dirty with the commands, definitely you will remember. In my 4 years of careers, I am not by heart any command. So whenever so most whatever the comments I mostly use, I remember those comments. If you forgot any comment, just Google it. That's only. Okay, now guys. Now 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 if you see here in desktop, you can see these are all files you are able to see. But in command line there is a no option. You want to see that files, you run the command called ls. Ls means list of. So you know you don't know the ls. What will we do? Ls hyphen help. It says like hyphen help. It says like list of information about the files. Ls means list of the current directory. Ls. So what this is the directory. Under directory, it I'm run the ls command. If I run the ls command, it will show the all information about this is the DevOps, Jenkins, Microsoft Link, proxies. These are all my see. You can see if it is in a blue color, it is a directory. If it is a white color, it is a file. And one more thing I want to say, I want to tell you, name my guys. If you really confusing or if you really not understand about comments, please let me know because I am telling very slowly with comparing with the Windows. And one more thing, in Windows we have a we have a folder, 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 and files, folder and files. Within the files again we have a zip file and jpg file. Jpg means image. Jpg file, next word file, next excel file. These are all the files, but in terms of Linux we called as a directory. We are not calling folder. If it is a if it is a Linux terminology, we called as a directory. No need to say folder. See, folder is a right word, but coming to the OS level terminology, we called as a directory. In Windows, we called as a folder. In Linux, we called as a directory. And files, you can see file, any file. See, in Linux, everything is a two format, either directory or file. The file, see, it is not it is shows in white color. If it is any file, it is a zip file, it is a jpg file, it is excel file, it is any file. In Linux we called as a file and directory called as a folder. Apart from directory, we call anything is called as a file. You can remember that only. Guys, hope you understand. If it is a Linux, we should say like directory, we should not say like folder. Hopefully you understood. And you want to see the information, you can see it is see directory. How can we identify? The first identification is it is in blue color, and the end of directory you can see the symbol called slash, forward slash. If it is a forward slash, that is a folder. That is a folder in in Linux. The first identification is blue color. The second identification is slash. If you end of the file you can find slash, that means that is a directory. Guys, understood or not?
Yes, understood.
Okay, apart from this you can see everything is in white color. Those are the files. Those are the files. Okay now guys, so this blue color as a soft link, what we call as a, see, you can see the, this is the shortcut, right? This is a shortcut. If it is, I have a Microsoft Edge, but I want to immediately open, I'm using this is a Windows icon shortcut. So this will be showing as a green color. I will explain this part later, no problem. Okay now guys, and I want to minimize this. So you can see I want to minimize. If you want to run the ls command, ls means list of the directory where we are in DevOps. Under, sorry, in desktop. In desktop you can see DevOps is a directory. But if it is a graphical, directly we can see. But if it is a command line, everything, if you want to get any information, everything has a one command. Sorry, everything is a one command. We should run that command, we should get that information, then only it get the information. DevOps. And next, Jenkins and Locase. So these are all the fault directory. Guys, hope you understand what is the use of ls command. Okay na guys. Now in ls you can find multiple options. ls minus ls minus l. What exact ls minus l? You can see ls minus control C. Give me 1 second. ls minus l. You can see I want to explain this. ls minus l means this is ls minus l means this is a long format. See, ls is a command which is used for list of files or directory in in current folder or current directory. Current here. Now if you run the ls minus l, guys, ls minus l, what exactly ls minus l? It is a long format. What is the long format? First, suppose if I'm going to the Windows, oh sorry, if you go to the desktop, if I open this, go to the properties of this file, go to the property, you can see this is in location desktop, and size you can see 235 MB, 235 MB. Okay, let me open DevOps. DevOps is a folder. I'm trying to open DevOps. I want to explain same thing. So this is the folder. I want to open properties. So you can see users and 934 MB, 934 MB. You can see blocks bytes 9806. So now you can see this is the size, contains when it is created 13 October, and you can see the options. You can see the security. What are the actions you have? Allow or deny, allow, read, write, and list of the folder, read, write, execute, modify. These are the, see, these are all, see, if you, I am the user, this is the user, this user, what are the permission, full control, modify, everything. And what is the, and here you can see permissions of mine. Now there is a pre-versions custom, there is no custom sharing, there is no, if you want to share this folder, anyone. See, whatever properties we can find for that file, that will be show in long format. That will be show in long format. In Linux, you can run the command called ls minus l. Here you can divide into the see, I will divide what is the exact of this one. I want to explain. First, the first field indicates whether it is a directory or folder. Sorry, whether directory or file. The first field, first field indicates whether it is directory or file. If it is a directory, the symbol is called der. So the symbol is called d. If it is a file, the symbol is called hyphen. You can see few are in hyphen symbol. Few are in hyphen. Hyphen means that is a file. That is a file. Okay. The first field. The next field is, next three fields are, we can divide into three. The next three are user permission. User permission, like who is the user? BVR is a user. Here this is the user and this is the group. User permission. read me R means read, W means write, X means execute. These are the permissions. The next permissions are group, and next three permissions are others. Okay, and size, how many directors? One. And here you can see this is the list like length we can say length. Next, this is the user, and this is the group of that directory. And here you can see size of directory, not content of directory, size of the directory. And here creation time. Finally, directory name of the file, name of the directory or file. Guys, see, if you open in Windows, you can see the properties, whatever properties we can find. We can find that properties by using command called ls minus l. L means long format. In this long format, it will says what is the permissions you have, and what is the user, and what is that group. This is the group name, this is the username. Username means who created that. I am created that folder, and when it is created, March 2nd. And this is the time. And size of the file, see, size of the directory, not size of the content of directory. See, అంటే ఆ కంటెంట్ లోన సమ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ డేటా ఉందండి. ఆ డేటా కాదు, ఏదైతే డైరెక్టరీ ఉందో ఈ డైరెక్టరీ యొక్క సైజ్ ఇది. ఓకేనా గైస్, అండర్స్టూడ్ ఆర్ నాట్? ఇది అర్థమైంది ఎల్ఎస్ మైనస్ ఎల్? హలో,
Yes, Venkat.
సారీ.
Yes, Venkat. In case any file is there in DevOps, that file size will show in another place. Huh?
Yeah, if you see, if it is a file, right, you can see the file size. This is the file, WhatsApp image. You can see it is in blocks.
Okay.
Okay, guys, you can see
Okay.
ls minus t. T means timestamp. If I run the t, ls minus lt, I am running the ls minus lt. Actually, timestamp based on the timestamp. If you created one file today, if you created one file in like if it's already created in two days ago, 2 days back. So what will happen? It will be show the file based on the timestamp. For suppose if I'm created file at 10 o'clock, if I created file, another file at 9 a.m. If I created 10 a.m., the first file, if you run the ls minus t, the first file will be shown, like which one is created latest, that will be shown as a first. Hope you understand, right? Okay, let me explain. Ls minus, you can see ls minus l. Guys, you can see this is the March 2nd, February 5th, December, January. These are all, see, you can see. So which one is created, latest? March 2nd, I think, before March
Okay.
2nd, March 2nd. Now you can see ls minus lt. Guys, you can give the multiple commands, multiple options at a time. Actually, we can give ls minus l, ls minus t. You can reduce this gap between L and T, just remove like this. Actually, options are ls hyphen like this. If you run this command, you can see March 2nd, February 28th, 3, February 23. So based on the timestamp, it will be show which one is created latest. Then so based on that order, it will be show. Guys, T option. Guys, if you don't know anything, I tell you, hyphen help, that will help. See, help of what I'm using hyphen t. So short by the time and newest file. So this is the option I'm using. If I'm using L, what is the use of L? L, it use the long listing format. Okay. Okay now guys, and tomorrow I'm going to explore the all options. If you get a time, definitely you will try from your end, but definitely tomorrow I'm going to explain about all ls real. And if you run the if you run the date command, you can see date Wednesday March 2nd. This is the time ist. Date is a command, it will be give the information about date. Guys, in Linux we have a plenty of commands, so no one can remember all commands, but I'm trying to give my best to understand few comment, at least 100 or 150 comments. Okay, no need to by heart anything, just run. If you try to understand the concept, I'm just see whatever the comments we are running, we should run on the Linux servers. But here the git bash is a, what git bash will do, whatever comments we are running, it will be accept and it will be talk to the windows. So git bash is a interface here. Actually git bash is a one tool which supports the Linux commands. Actually these are all the Linux commands, so don't think like these are all Windows commands. Windows has a separate commands. Okay now guys, but I'm trying to show what exactly happen if you run the any command. Guys, hopefully understand about Linux basics, so Linux, and tomorrow going to see, it will take around 4 to 5 classes to complete the all basics.
Okay.
Okay na guys, okay na guys, so it will not done so today just intro about that basics only. So if you want to the admin, if you want to if you have an interest to learn the admin part, I will share the book, and that will be helpful to you. And but I don't want to explain all the admin things. If you want to explain admin things, definitely it will take around 1.5 months to 2 months, minimum 2 months it will be take. So we don't have that much of time. So we see, as a DevOps person, no need to require that much of admin part is not required. You should know the basics which able to sustain in DevOps world. Okay, na guys.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'm going to explain about ls command, list command with the all options, and I'm going to create the new file. I'm going to create the new directory. See, if you are comes into the Linux world, do not use the terminology called folder, directory. We call it as a directory. Okay, na guys.
Okay.
Bye. And the radio session is the recording session is available up to 30 days, so you can download and you can watch if it is really required. Okay guys, bye.